Sometimes we need to remind ourselves that you're whole on your own, that a relationship is meant to add to your life, not complete it. The more you value your own life, the less inclined you'll be to just let anyone into it. All right, let's talk about something that so many of us face, that nagging feeling that if we don't act right now, we're going to miss out on the perfect relationship. So I'm talking about FOMO, fear of missing out. You know that thought. You're single, you're doing fine, everything's good, but suddenly you start feeling like everyone around you is paired up, or like if you don't jump into something now, you'll miss out on your shot at love. But here's the truth: what's meant for you won't pass you by. And today we're going to talk about how to let go of that FOMO so you can stop rushing and start focusing on what truly matters. And here's the thing: FOMO isn't just about missing out on relationships. It's about losing ourselves in the idea that if we're not doing something right now, we're falling behind. Society has made us feel like we're in this constant race. And when it comes to love, that pressure can be really intense. But let's challenge that today. This idea that we're somehow behind because we're single, that we're missing out because we don't have someone by our side, where did that even come from? Social media? Probably. So today we're going to break this down and talk about where FOMO stems from, and then look at some strategies for letting go of that fear. So let's get into why FOMO even shows up in dating. FOMO isn't just about relationships, it's everywhere. So whether it's missing out on events or career moves or seeing others doing things that make you feel like you're behind, in dating, it's that voice that says, if I don't settle down right now, I'll end up alone. Or if I don't give this person a chance, I might miss out on love. And then social media doesn't make it any better. You see all these happy couples and these engagement posts, or even just these well-crafted date night stories. All of that can make you feel like you're falling short. So society has taught us to think of love as a race where the first one to the finish line wins. But is that really true? What's so interesting about FOMO is that it often stems from a place of insecurity or even scarcity. It's like we've been conditioned to believe there's a limited supply of good partners, and if we don't act fast, we're going to end up missing out. But when did love become this game of scarcity? When did finding someone become about grabbing the last option instead of waiting for the person who genuinely aligns with us? If we really think about it, love is abundant. The right relationships are out there and they're not going anywhere. But because of societal expectations and pressure, we're often convinced that there's only so much love to go around, and that if we don't act now, we're going to miss out on our turn. FOMO in dating often makes people rush into things that they're not ready for. It makes people settle, stay in situations that don't serve them, or ignoring all kinds of red flags. And let's be real, nothing good ever comes from making a decision out of fear. So before we even get into how to overcome FOMO, recognize that the fear itself is a signal. It's your mind's way of telling you, hey, maybe we need to reevaluate what we're looking at and where we're going. That's the first step. Understanding why the fear even exists. When we can identify where FOMO is even coming from, we can start to dismantle it piece by piece. Now, one of the biggest ways to fight FOMO is to embrace our own timeline. So this might sound simple, but in practice, it takes real intention and trust. Society loves to push this idea that everyone should settle down by a certain age, or that we're only valuable if we're in a relationship. But here's the truth: life isn't a one-size-fits-all journey. Just because someone you know is engaged or married or even starting a family doesn't mean you have to be in the same place. You have your own path, and that path is valid whether it looks traditional or not. Let's take a minute to imagine life as a journey. Each person is on their own road. Each road is unique. Some people's path may lead them to marry young. Some are focused on self-discovery, while others are meant to be single for a while and you're working on yourself. And all of that is okay. Your value isn't determined by how closely you follow someone else's path. Embracing your own timeline means you get to set the pace. You get to choose what matters to you, and you live on your terms. And when you do that, you let go of FOMO because you realize that your life is meant to unfold in a way that's personal and fulfilling for you alone. When you start to trust your own timeline, you give yourself permission to be at peace with where you are. You understand that what's for you won't be lost if you're patient. And this doesn't just apply to love, it applies to everything in life. We're often rushing and we're feeling like we're late to certain milestones, but the reality We're on the time of our own journey. So embrace your pace, embrace your timing, God's timing, and know that things that are meant for you aren't going to pass you by because you took a little longer to get there. So some people's paths lead them to marry young. Some are focused on self-discovery, while others are meant to be single for a little while and working on themselves. And all of that is okay. Your value isn't determined by how closely you follow someone else's path. Embracing your own timeline means you get to set the pace. You get to choose what matters to you, and you live on your terms. And when you do that, you let go of FOMO because you realize that your life is meant to unfold in a way that's personal and fulfilling for you alone. Think about it this way. Consider the difference between luxury items and clearance sale items. Luxury items don't go on sale. They're not designed to be discounted or rushed out to appeal to everyone. They have a specific value and aren't afraid to wait for the right buyer who sees that value. Now, clearance items, they're there to be bought up quickly. So they're moving to whoever is willing to take them at a discount. But when you know your worth, you're that luxury item. You're not here to rush out the door to whoever shows you the first interest. You're here to stand by your value and wait for the right person who sees that value without you needing to be on clearance. Embracing your own timeline means you're comfortable waiting. Just like that luxury item, you know what you bring to the table, and you're not trying to fit into anyone else's schedule to lower your standards just to be chosen faster. When you see yourself this way, it becomes easier to trust that the right person, the one who truly appreciates you, will come at the right time. And honestly, the relationships we rush into, those clearance relationships, they tend to fade quickly, while the ones built on genuine respect and value, those stand the test of time. So remind yourself daily. Your journey is yours alone. The right things aren't going to come to you a second sooner or later than they're meant to. And honestly, life isn't about keeping up. It's about showing up for yourself, trusting your journey, and letting things unfold as they're meant to. And another powerful way to tackle FOMO is by shifting your focus inward. So instead of obsessing over who's dating who and who's engaged or who's posting date night or who's having kids, take that energy towards self-growth. The time you spend single is one of the most important and best times you will ever have to work on yourself, to build skills, and to do things that make you happy. When you're pouring into your own life, FOMO starts to fade because your life feels full and satisfying all on its own. And this isn't just about keeping busy. It's about building a life that you genuinely love and one that doesn't feel like it's missing something just because you're not in a relationship. Sometimes we need to remind ourselves that you're whole on your own, that a relationship is meant to add to your life, not complete it. So while you're single, dive into things that you love, rediscover old hobbies, build new skills, make new friends, take that class, start that passion project, whatever it is. This is your time to invest in you. When you're grounded in who you are, you attract people who value and respect you, people who align with your standards and goals. And that in turn eliminates the need to rush. Self-growth, it makes you less willing to settle because you've built something for yourself that's worth protecting. And let's be real, the more you value your own life, the less inclined you'll be to just let anyone into it. The right person will see your growth, they'll respect your journey, and they'll want to be a part of it without you having to compromise or settle. When you focus on growth, your priorities will shift. You stop worrying about who's coupled up and you'll start focusing on who's leveling up, who's becoming the person that they're meant to be. And that's the energy you want to carry with you into any future relationship. You want to show up as a whole person, not someone who feels complete only when they're with someone. So by focusing on your self-growth, you're telling yourself, I'm enough on my own, and I won't settle for anyone who doesn't see that or tries to take away from that. So the last piece of letting go of FOMO is trust. Trusting that what's meant for you will come to you in its own time. But real trust means believing that God does have a plan for you. And that plan doesn't rely on rushing, settling, or forcing something to happen before it's time. Learning to trust the process can feel like a risk. It's like standing on the edge and not really knowing what's next, but choosing to have faith anyway. Trust me, when you start to believe that what is meant for you will come, you find a kind of peace that no relationship status can ever ever give you, I promise you. You're no longer chasing, you're attracting. And there's something truly freeing about that. That relationship isn't going to come out of fear or desperation. It's going to come from a place of wholeness and peace and contentment within yourself. So instead of asking, when is it going to happen for me? Start asking, how can I make the most of where I am right now? Letting go means you're at peace with wherever you are, whatever stage you are in life, because you trust that each season of your life is preparing you for what's next. And here's the secret. The right relationship will never make you feel rushed, pressured, or incomplete. When it's truly meant for you, it'll fit seamlessly because it'll come at a time when you're ready and you're whole. Trusting the process doesn't mean you're giving up on love. It means you're allowing love to find you without trying to force or control the outcome. And that's a beautiful thing because when you trust, you're not just waiting for love to arrive. You're building a life that you love, a life that will only be enhanced by the right person, not defined by them. So whenever FOMO starts creeping in, you've got to remind yourself that you're not in a competition with anyone. Love isn't about scarcity. It's about abundance. It's about knowing that what's meant for you will come in its perfect timing. And when it does, because it will, you'll feel a sense of peace instead of urgency or a sense of fulfillment rather than emptiness because the right relationship doesn't complete you, it complements you. And that kind of love, the kind that allows you to be fully yourself, is always worth the wait. Thank y'all so much for watching. I really hope this helped. If you are in a place in your life, which a lot of us have been there or slowly creep back in there sometimes, where you do feel like you're in the midst of FOMO right now, please remind yourself that you are exactly where you were written to be, and believe that those things that you feel like you're missing out on, they're already there. And the minute that you trust in the timing in your life and God's timing, the minute that you just release and you surrender and you let go, is the moment that you make room for those things to come to you in divine timing. And you're not missing out on anything because what you want, it's already there. It's already yours. You want to be your best self to the person who will also want to be their best selves when they meet up with you. Thank y'all so much for watching. Let me know how you feel, your comments below. I'd love to hear from y'all. And until then, I will see y'all in the next one. Love y'all. Bye.